Hi, this is Haley Johnson from the Wabash County DA's office.
Thank you. This is case number 15 CF 627, State of Wisconsin plaintiff versus James A. Barker III defendant. Assistant DA Haley Johnson is appearing by speakerphone today. Mr. Barker is appearing in court in person. The case is scheduled today to review the competency issue. Mr. Barker, when we were here in court on November 3rd, you were given a copy of the report by Dr. Deborah Collins. Did you now have an opportunity to review that, sir?
Yes.
And are you agreeing today that you are competent to proceed, or are you requesting a hearing, sir?
I'm competent to proceed.
Okay, thank you. I will make the finding then that Mr. Barker is competent to proceed. We discussed last time the fact that the public defender statutorily cannot appoint standby counsel for you, sir. So at this point, I believe we just need to schedule motions to suppress and schedule a trial. Is that your understanding as well, Mr. Barker?
Yes, and as far as the demand for discovery and the order to compel discovery.
Well, and again, we've gone all through that. Everything is available to you for your review at the Sheriff's Department. There's other evidence that you claim is missing, and it's not, the DA's office doesn't have it either. So, the motions to suppress, I believe, were motions filed by prior attorneys that you had retained, sir. There was a motion filed November 9th, 2016 by attorney Robert Bucket that I believe still needs to be heard. And there was a supplemental motion to suppress, also filed November 9th, 2016 by attorney William Sultan. I know the DA's office long ago responded to those. The third motion to suppress, filed by attorney Bobbitt, was previously heard. So let's get a date for those two motions, and then final pretrial and jury trial date.
I would like to address the discovery.
What would you like to address on the discovery issue, sir?
The last court appearance, you told me to go to the Sheriff's Department
Correct.
and meet with William Dale to view the original search warrants and all the discovery that's missing. I initially contacted Detective William Dale by phone, and then from there, all our correspondence was through email. And Friday, I went to, I emailed him specifically on November 13th at 11:11 a.m. all the discovery that I was looking to review. He said he will contact me back in 2 days. He contacted me, I believe it was Wednesday of last week. And I went to the Sheriff's Department Friday thinking I was going to be able to review the digital discovery and inspect the original search warrants and all that. And when I got there, they handed me this packet right here, and that said It's just copies of sheriff inventory, property inventory sheets, and a few other things that I already have. None of the discovery that I have been requesting, and you have ordered to compel, and was in the packet.
Who did you contact?
The sheriff department.
No, I know, but who specifically at the sheriff's department, sir?
It's William Dale, the lady, the sheriff that you had me contact before. She wasn't in control of that department anymore. Some new guy named William Dale, and so everything was done through him.
Okay, and I'm not familiar with who that person is. That's a deputy?
Definitely William
Okay,
Dale.
all right.
So once again, the discovery that I'm looking
Okay,
to review is I mean, basically, yeah, you can see that they're being evasive on submitting the discovery, and every piece of discovery that I am requesting, I'm getting the information from police reports.
I understand, sir.
This discovery.
Ms. Johnson, I know that when we were here on November 3rd, Mr. Barker had not yet gone to the sheriff's department to look at some of the physical evidence and digital discovery that they have. He's now indicating that the person that he was originally supposed to meet with is no longer available to do that. I don't know what that issue is. And that Deputy William Dale simply gave him copies of a property inventory sheet. Is there another contact person that you might have at our sheriff's department for Mr. Barker to contact?
The main person that I've worked with regarding the discovery has been investigator Brian Van Suck, SCYOC. I know the defendant had indicated he didn't want to work with him. I can contact investigator Van Suck and Deputy Dale and see if Deputy Dale would allow the defendant to view the physical discovery.
Okay.
That is what is supposed to occur. I
Sure.
do have an email from Deputy Dale saying he did give him copies of discoveries, but I understand the defendant wants to see physical items. So I can contact those two officers and see if we can set that up.
Okay, very good. And do you, all right, so Mr. Barker, I'm going to trust Ms. Johnson to contact either the investigator or Deputy Dale to set that up with you. What is your telephone number, sir, so that you can be contacted when that's arranged?
I would like to address something that you said to the DA, Haley Johnson. The last lady, I think her name was, last name was Spranger or something like that, that I was supposed to contact to view the digital discovery and the original records and all that. She didn't respond to my email when I tried to come downtown to view the discovery, so it ain't like I just didn't come. So it's been 3 discovery demands filed since 2015. 2 to Haley Prosecutor Haley Jo Johnson, and not including the motion to compel discovery that she was supposed to bring forth on record in court that she still haven't brought to court. I mean, you allowed her not to show up, and just, but one of your specific orders was for her to give me all those records upon my request at court.
You have all the records that she has in her possession. You have a right to view the physical evidence being held by the sheriff's department. I apologize, that hasn't occurred yet. Part of it was your not contacting the people that you were told to contact to accomplish that.
I did contact them. I got emails, I got everything
Okay.
that I contacted them.
So,
Should I read the email?
no doubt, no. There's no doubt that you have a right to view it. Absolutely. So, we need to make sure that you do that. She, Ms. Johnson, will make sure that she contacts either the investigator or Deputy Dale. What is your number, sir? So that once that's arranged and the deputies are clear on what you have a right to view, they can contact you and say, let's schedule a time.
I clarified everything on record and to the deputies. This is just,
What is your number,
my
sir?
number is 262-865-0741. I would like to elaborate on this issue even further. So I've contacted everyone. I even had to drive way up to Walworth County, which is violation of my due process rights because Walworth County isn't the legal custodian of records. So
You went to Walworth County with attorney Vincent Bobbitt, who
Yes,
you retained.
was corrupted.
Correct.
Too. I fired him for those reasons. It is a violation of my due process rights for me to have to travel outside the legal jurisdiction to look at discovery when Racine County is the legal custodian of the records. I've been specifically asking them to review the original records and pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.35. I've been to every clerk's office, DA office, several times over the past, since 2016 and beyond, requesting to review these discoveries, review the original records, and I still haven't had it. And you keep giving the DA chances without sanctions.
Mr. Barker, all of the documentation in Ms. Johnson's possession, you have, Mr. Bobbitt had, other attorneys had. There is still physical evidence for you to review at the Sheriff's Department.
I've been there several times.
Ms. Johnson will hopefully take care of it once and for all so that an appointment can be scheduled. You just can't go there because a deputy has to be available to monitor what you're doing to make sure that none of the physical evidence is manipulated, destroyed, or taken.
We've been through this process already.
I understand your frustration, sir.
Listen, excuse me, with all due respect, but I have a letter from, what's his name? Ryan Graziano or something like that. He's the administrative deputy clerk.
Correct.
I even asked for copies of the records that Haley Joe Johnson allegedly sent back to Racine for me to review. Now these records, all of these records are supposed to be, the original of these records are supposed to be, the Racine County is supposed to be the legal custodian of these records. So what Haley Joe Johnson had should be copies of the originals that's from Racine County. I asked him for copies of those records, and he wrote, I had him write this letter, also got it all video recorded. But he told me he can't give me copies because Racine County has nothing to do with the case. So if he's saying that, that means that there is no case because the legal custodian of the records is denying that they have possession of the records. The clerk of courts told me, felony courts told me, we don't have the originals. I got video recorded of them telling me that. Me and my attorneys, when we came to exercise our legal right to view and inspect the records, I would like to bring forth the video evidence to court, so I would like for you to be able to provide me with a TV and a DVD player so I can present my digital evidence in court to show you that I've been denied access to public records. And if this case keep continuing on, the more that it continue on, the more my due process rights are keep being violated.
We're hopefully going to bring it to a closure, Mr. Barker. All right, again, all the documents Ms. Johnson has, you have. Ms. Johnson, can you contact either the investigator or Deputy Dale by the end of this week to schedule an appointment then with Mr. Barker to review that discovery?
Yes, I can do that.
All right. And you have Mr. Barker's telephone number?
Yes, I got it, and I have an email address as well.
All right. Mariana, let's schedule dates
I would
then
like to-
on those, just a second,
Okay.
2 motions to suppress.
January 29th at 2 o'clock.
That should work.
Does that work for you, Mr. Barker?
Yes.
January 29th at 2 p.m. All right.
So, are you going to apply sanctions if this is the third, fourth time you've sent me? I've been sent to Walworth County, I've been sent to Racine County Clerk's Office, the felony case court's office, the DA office. Every branch of Racine County chasing after these, this alleged discovery. That's
Sir,
got
the
me-
discovery that you are still in need of is in this building at the sheriff's department.
I've been here several
All right,
times.
again, you can't just walk in there to view that discovery because a deputy has to be with you to make sure that the items which are going to be necessary for trial aren't manipulated in any way, destroyed or taken.
I understand
So
that.
we'll make sure that that's done.
Can I finish elaborating on the issue? Everything you just said, at the last court appearance and beyond, this is what was supposed to happen. You have ordered the DA to bring forth, it'd be so simple, they just bring it. I want to inspect the original records. I have a right. Wisconsin Statutes 19.35. I've been to the legal custodian to view those records. I have them on camera telling me they don't exist. So therefore, someone has been dishonest in their police reports and discovered. You keep acting like I have all the time in the world.
You went to
running around,
Walworth County with
which is a
Attorney
violation of my
Bobbitt.
process.
You went there, all of the records that Ms. Johnson had. I'm satisfied from Mr. Bobbitt's representations.
I'm not.
You have as well.
I'm not.
All right.
Can I please address the court? I fired Vincent Bobbitt for a reason. You know what I mean? And so that's the reason why I'm representing myself. I found that he was being untruthful and doing.
I don't
things
need to
that-
know those reasons, sir.
I'm
Those
just
are
saying.
your reasons. I don't need to know those reasons. He's an officer of the court.
Yes.
He indicated on the record that all of the records that Ms. Johnson had, he went through. You have those records.
Yes.
Everything she has, you have. The only thing we're talking about at this point is the physical evidence at the sheriff's department.
Let's talk.
So, January 29th at 2 p.m., we will hear the two motions to suppress filed by two other lawyers that you had previously retained. I'm assuming you have copies of those motions, correct? If not, I'll print copies for you.
I want to continue. It's several things that I want to address the court. As far as the digital, the August 21st interview that in, I believe, April 23rd, audio and video recorded interview that you and Haley Joe Johnson said don't exist. I brought forth the actual police report from Brian Van Sock, the athlete, to the search warrants, who was also found being untruthful at my revocation hearing. Right here, I would like to read that to the court, exactly what it says. If you like, I'll read the total report, or I can just read where he says it was audio and video recorded and submitted into discovery. And so if you're telling me that these audio recordings don't exist.
I don't know what exists or not. All I know, sir, is that whatever Ms. Johnson has, you have.
Yes, okay, you don't know what exists, but you co-signed for the DA stating that you can't give me things that don't exist.
Correct.
And I'm telling you that the reason why I'm asking for this audio recording is because of this report right here, dated August 21st, 2015, that specifically says that the interview was recorded audio and visually, and this August 21st, 2015 police report, I was never given until my sixth attorney. It popped up in discovery. So this report is potentially exculpatory evidence that's being concealed from me, and that's a violation of my due process rights if they're keeping discovery from me. That's potentially exculpatory. And I also have the report from investigator Donald Vandervest that specifically says that he interviewed me, and I mean, I was the guy being interviewed, so I know I was being interviewed at this time, and so they're saying that don't exist. So, and that was on April 23rd at 7:45, and he had corroborated reports that says that he interviewed me at 7:45, and I know that I was interviewed, I just don't know who the officers was. And so I'm looking for this report because.
Ms.
if I-
Johnson, do you have audio from April 23rd of 2015 and August 21st of 2015?
Your Honor, I apologize, I don't have my full file in here, but I can tell the court, as the court continuously stated, the defendant has had access to my entire file. Everything I have, he has or has had access to with Attorney Bobbitt, and without having the full file in front of me, I don't know offhand if I have that particular disc.
All right, if you would check on that too. Those two dates seem to be important to Mr. Barker.
Yes.
Those are.
Can you repeat those dates for me?
Sure, April 23rd, 2015 and August 21st, 2015.
It's more,
Okay.
it's more.
I can check on that for
All
the
right.
next hearing.
All right,
It's more, it's an additional, according to Investigator Donald Vandervest's report, Brian Van Sock, he also stated he recorded Yvonne McNeil on April 23rd, 2015. He said he audio recorded her, and that's not a discovery. I went through, it's true, me and Vince Bobby violated my due process rights and had me drive all the way to Walworth County outside the legal jurisdiction to view discovery. And then that same discovery was sent across the street for me to review again, and it was just the same thing that me and Vince Bobby drove up to Walworth County, and I have him on video. I have my camera crew with me, and he stated on video that none of the discovery that we drove way up there to get was in the file, and I can play that for you too if you want to like, and if you would like that, like to see it. Matter of fact, I want to motion the court to allow me to be able to play that video, and so all of this is potential exculpatory evidence, and it's a violation of my due process rights. And you're just allowing me to go to trial without the evidence that they're using against me inside affidavits, search warrants, and all this and you're saying, hey, go to trial. You know what I mean? This is a violation of my due process rights. If I don't get a right to discovery, demand discovery, how am I going to trial? Look back at the transcript for how many times you gave J. Haley Johnson a chance to submit this discovery. Even before you became the judge. Judge Gatchkevich, same thing. I've been trying to get all these documents since 2015. It's 2015. I still don't got them. I'm ready to get on with my life. That's just, and y'all hindering that. I got my CDLs, I can't get on the road because I got to come to court every month, and I'm constantly chasing my tail, running across the street, and every time I come to court, somebody else got these records, but the legal custodian who was on record saying we don't have those records, they don't exist, and I'm still having to chase my tail. I mean, there should be a point where you should be willing to hand out sanctions for violating my due process rights. You just keep on just giving the DA a chance. I have a life, I have kids, I have a future if I can get to it, you know what I mean? And I'm not allowing my due process rights. I just want, if they don't have the discovery, okay, you're saying that this stuff don't exist, so that means that these officers are lying and have fabricated reports. So therefore, both of these officers are affiants to the search warrants. So if they're not submitting the discovery, that means that their police reports and testimony can't be used at trial. Those are the type of sanctions that you can hand out as a judge. If you find that they're lying in reports, and you have said obviously that they're lying in reports because you're saying that these recordings don't exist.
are you finished?
No, I'm not. I'm not finished.
Yeah, you're done, because you just keep reiterating the same points over and over again, and I've got other hearings now this afternoon, Mr. Parker.
Well, yes, but I've been fighting this case
Okay,
for 3 years.
stop.
And
I understand. I understand. And to say that it's difficult with you having retained and having been appointed numerous attorneys over these past
Yes.
years, and now representing yourself makes it somewhat difficult.
Yes, because
So, stop. Ms. Johnson, if you would check on those April 23rd and August 21st, 2015 recordings, contact either in the investigator or Deputy Dale to arrange a date with Mr. Barker, January 29th at 2 p.m. on the motions to suppress. Hopefully by then, Mr. Barker will have reviewed those documents at the Sheriff's Department. We will have an answer on those audio recordings from April and August, and we can then proceed to schedule this case for a final pretrial and jury trial.
There's something else need to be addressed.
What's that, sir?
The 6-page sworn affidavit from Yvonne McNeil. I would like to ask the court to subpoena her. Her 6-page sworn affidavit has never been addressed. And so, I mean, she can either attend at the next court date and testify, or...
There's no motion pending before me, sir, and I don't subpoena anyone for anything.
Okay, I'll submit the motion so she can testify to her,
File an appropriate motion, send the motion to Ms. Johnson. Hopefully, if you file it timely, we can hear whatever motion you want to file here on January 29th at 2 o'clock as well.
Why is time a factor with me, but it's not a factor? It's clear that you're being biased.
Sir,
and not fair.
if you don't file it before to be heard on January 29th, we will schedule yet another court date. The more we can accomplish on January 29th, the better, so that you don't have to keep coming back. That's one of your biggest complaints. If you don't have it filed, I'm happy to give you another court date to come back to hear whatever motion you need to file.
So when I submit these videos...
I don't need to see videos, sir.
So I don't have a right to...
Sir, I know that every time you come to the courthouse, every time you do anything about anything on this case, you have somebody filming it for you.
Yes.
I don't need to see those videos.
But that's why.
I don't need to see those videos. They're not relevant to the issues in this criminal case.
How do you know that?
As long as you have the discovery that the state has, as long as you viewed the physical evidence, that's what matters.
What about my physical evidence that I've gathered?
The issues, sir, are whether or not the state can prove the 3 crimes that you are charged with. That video of all of your experiences.
No, this is video of testimony from officers, video of officers showing unsigned search
To the
warrants.
extent that it's relevant at
Yes.
trial, it's relevant at trial. But I don't need to see that otherwise.
So you're telling me I don't have a right to bring forth videos to do a motion hearing?
If it's relevant to the
Okay.
motion only.
Okay, that's all right.
All right, we'll see you back January 29th at 2 p.m. on the motions to suppress filed by prior counsel and other motions if you have them filed. All right, Ms. Johnson, I think that's it for today. Thank you for appearing by phone. You probably will need to appear in person at the next hearing for those motions to suppress.
Yes, I will do that. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you very much.
Okay.
Do you need notice in writing, Mr. Barker, of the next court date, January 29th at 2 p.m.?
I got it.
Okay,
Thank you. Bye.
thank you.